Wow. Talk about the wrong plot and the wrong climax at the worst time in American history. Big Trouble, released in 2002 and is directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who's behind such films like The Addams Family, Get Shorty, Men in Black, and Wild West. I had never heard of this movie before, and after watching it, I have realized that there is actually a pretty damn big cast with this movie. The movie stars Tim Allen, Omar Epps, Dennis Farina, Ben Foster, Janine Garofalo, Jason Lee, Rene Russo, Zooey Deschanel, Sofia Vergara, Tom Sizemore, and Stanley Tucci. And before we get started, I just want to give a nice little shout out to Rusted Beetle. He's been one of my big recommenders here on Caleb Watches Movies, and he's my second donator to this channel. So here's to you, and here's to your wife. I know you put that in your recommendation, your description, so I'm happy to check this out. If any of you want to make a PayPal donation, just click on the donate button on my main homepage of my YouTube channel. Make your donation and recommend your movie with it. I take any size donation, anything that helps me support me with this channel and make it bigger than what it's been in the last couple of years. I appreciate all the support. Thank you very much, Rusted Beetle, and your wife. You two are fantastic, and this movie was actually kind of enjoyable. Other than that climax, which was just weird. Big Trouble follows several different characters in several different plot lines that get all twisted and turned and kind of connected to this big metal suitcase that is finding its way transported all around Miami, Florida. Tim Allen plays a divorced ex-columnist who finds his son tied up in a game of killer with Zooey Deschanel, whose mom is Rene Russo, neither one of which really respect their parents. So through this film of a bunch of mistaken identities and a lot of very big coincidences, Tim Allen seeks to win his son's approval. And that is the best that I can do by giving any type of plot summary for this movie, because it's so random. These characters have almost no connection to each other whatsoever, but the screenwriter has found a way to take so many different plot lines and so many different lives and tie them and mesh them in together into one big climax. It's brilliant, yet it's a little jarring and confusing at times. And sometimes it doesn't keep my attention, and other times I'm like, wow, that's actually very clever. First things first, though, whenever I hear this titled Big Trouble, I think of that song from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, back in, I think it was 1995, but it's a song called Trouble. You remember that song?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Something's come along and it's burst our bubble.
Yeah, yeah. That song is so terrible. But it's from my childhood, so I absolutely love it. If you ever want to know how big of a Power Rangers nerd I was back when I was a kid, that movie, that year, was the only thing I wanted for Christmas. Just the big plastic VHS container of that movie. That was it. You know what? I was not disappointed. But speaking of movies and its release, the big reason why Rusted Beetle recommended this movie was because this film was actually scheduled to be released on September 21st, 2001. And for those of you that lived in this country, in the United States, during 2001 in September, you know that was not the best month for us. And we had this unfortunate tragedy on 9/11 where a couple of planes crashed into the Pentagon and into the World Trade Centers and completely destroyed them. It's an event that rocked the country. It still rocked the country, I think. And we're still experiencing the aftermath of that. We still have soldiers over in Iraq, government policies, security breaches with our phones, Big Brother, all of that stuff really rocked us after 9/11. And the reason why Rusted Beetle recommended this movie is because the climax of this movie takes place with this nuclear bomb in this metal case trying to ship out of this airport. And as these crooks are going through the airport, they're kind of bribing their way. They're bribing the stewardess, saying, hey, yes, tickets for John Smith. All of us are John Smith. Here's like $1,000 cash. They go through customs. They open up the case and they're like, oh, it's a garbage disposal. See, here's the switch. And then it starts counting down. And the TSA agent is like, well, I guess we're busy, so move along. As I'm watching this, I'm thinking, oh my God, no wonder why this film didn't come out then. How was this even released and you were close to this. But the film was completed, and it was so close to its original opening day that the following year, they just kind of released it. Finally, they're like, well, I mean, we kind of just have to do that, so here, and then, oh, we'll take it right back. Wow, if this movie would have come out just a year prior, it probably would have done pretty well, but oh, that's just poor timing, and it's no one's fault. No one knew it was going to happen, but damn. But this is one of your mad world and rat race type of films, where you have a bunch of these characters, a bunch of personalities that somehow all find themselves connected in a certain way. This one, however, it takes a lot longer for all of these different people to start to intertwine with each other. And I think that's kind of what was making me antsy, because yes, a couple of these people were mingling, but then these other things were happening, and Tim Allen was narrating those things happening. I'm like, but that has nothing to do with what's going on over here, and when is it gonna intersect? And I'm like, well, let's move it along here, which I think is a contradiction, because I actually think this movie moves pretty fast for what it does. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't know what to expect with this movie, but it wasn't clicking for me on all cylinders. Probably the character I connected the most with was Dennis Farina's character. He's a professional hitman, and like, he's a professional one, and he's a gentleman about it. He's not like that, super Asian. He's not like Deathstroke going around with a mask on. He's in a suit. He finds a little bush, and he sees his target, shoots him, goes home, and orders himself a nice steak dinner. I like that. There's a nobility about him that I really like. And the way that he handles the asshole with the cigar in the restaurant, I think is picture perfect. And I think it's the way that we need to handle people that don't wear masks in this country and in this world during this whole global pandemic. I don't need to put out my cigar. There's no law saying I need to do that. No, sir, there is no law at this point that says you need to put that out. It's just manners and common courtesy. And he breaks his finger and takes it and dips it in his brandy, and everyone around the table does the same thing because they don't want their fingers broken. I think that's perfect, and that's kind of how I want to treat those people that don't wear masks. Is there a law that makes you wear it? No, there is not a law, but screw your fucking rights, wear your goddamn mask, because we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and when you put that mask on, it helps to stop the spread. So shut the fuck up and put on your damn mask. Calm down, Caleb. Calm down, get off your soapbox. And continuing with the review. Tim Allen is the top-billed actor of this film, and I think the only reason for that is because of his name and his popularity with Home Improvement, because really his character, even though he is the narrator, his character we really don't see a lot of, and we don't really get that big of a change with. Yes, he has a big resolution at the end where his son actually starts to respect him after what he does in this movie, but it didn't feel that big of an impact for me. Patrick Waterburn also shows up in this movie. I don't think I mentioned his name during the credits roll. But he plays a cop that kind of really doesn't want to be a cop. He'd rather flash his penis around, so it sounds a lot like the characters that he plays. One of the most distinguishable voices, too. It's fantastic. I think it's mocked to death, but it works. And I'm always fine when Janine Garofalo shows up on screen. I think she is hilarious. She's one of the funniest comedians in film. I think the movie is actually very enjoyable. Again, I like when a screenwriter takes a bunch of these people and they tie them together. As a writer, that's probably a lot of fun to do that. It's always a risk, though, when you go down that plot and that storyline, because sometimes you tend to stretch your willing suspension of disbelief a little too far, and I think that's what happened here, is that my willing suspension of disbelief was kind of compromised in some ways. You're kind of asking a lot of me to believe that all of this is happening. There's a lot of coincidences here, and I'm going along with it, but you're pushing it. You're right on that line. And the moral of the story is that if you're a divorced dad trying to win your son's approval, you have to, I guess, stop a nuclear bomb from going off and saving your kind of girlfriend, but not really girlfriend, but you kind of like her from high school, and you don't know if she likes you, but you're kind of together, and you do like her, right? So I think, yes, it is a good time, but due to that climax and the timing that it was coming out, yeah, no one saw this movie, and I would not have either. Probably no one has even heard of this movie before. So I think it's a good time, and it's a fun way to look at the world before 9/11 as just around as it was happening. Here's what life was before, and now here's all the shit that happened afterwards. I'm gonna give Big Trouble 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, now usually what comes at this point in my review is I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, but because this one was a PayPal donation, it kind of was expedited and it threw off the order and the schedule that I had, so we are going to be continuing with what I originally had planned, so just stay tuned. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, leave a recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter and leave your recommendation there. Again, if you want to make a PayPal donation to help support me in my channel, you can click on the donate button on my main homepage of my YouTube channel. Any size donation would be great, and you can give me your movie too that you want me to review with your donation, and I will move it to the front of the line. So guys, have you seen Big Trouble? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time, so in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.